Yeah, that wasn't just a catchy tagline in talking about the Shack. Literally have a brand new member with the Free Agent Academy. Name is Dave Aldrich, and he was one of the. Well, you know what? I've got a note right here from him, and yeah, I'm talking into a little mic here. We're getting the studio set up thanks to my buddy Scott Stearman. So we got a little lighting. We're going to do a little bit more over here, some audio. So we're getting official here. But Dave Aldrich, the guy says the Shack cover design was a collaboration between two other designers and myself, along with the author and others who were involved in publishing the book. Designed by committee is not my favorite way to create, but I was glad to be part of such a project and with a book that so personally impacted me. And then he's talking directly to me. He says, you had said to me a few weeks ago when you got wind that I was involved with that book and said, what are you going to do to promote that? Well, I haven't done enough. So here I am hoping to get some direction in that area. He was with an advertising firm as a design guy for 30 years. He was in that business, just lost his job, never been unemployed before. And so now he says, I think I'm finally ready to take my dreams off the shelf. But I'm going to let him actually tell you. He was in his first Free Agent Academy class. We just happened to have one today, and I was actually talking about Free Agent Underground and Free Agent Academy and spreading the inspiration on self-employment. And was actually asking about some of the nuts and bolts because I tend to want to get to, okay, what's the next? You know, we need to look at your brand. We need to look at your idea. We need to look at promotion, your website, kind of the nuts and bolts. And so often it comes back, though, to personal issues, personal development, which is a stumbling block for all of us, myself included. And I was actually talking about that, some of that on the call. And he came on because when you're doing one of the classes, you can actually raise your hand via the telephone system. Or well, in this case, it was on the telephone, and ask a question. And so I said, hey, Dave, you know, you're the new guy. And he said he wanted to give some input on why he joined. So this isn't just a promotion on joining, but on the reality that it's not the nuts and bolts. And in some ways, it didn't have to do with even me or what we're providing here. It just happened to go along with his personal journey. So that's why I got this little mic here. I'm going to let you listen to Dave real quick here. Hopefully the sound will come through. You ready?
And I know for me personally, and I've been in communication with you via email back and forth, and you know how much I hemmed and hawed about just taking that next step.
Yeah.
And I just have this sense that that's where a lot of people are, and you can do the very best you're doing getting the word out there, but I think there are probably so many people like myself who look at it and like, yeah, but, you know, and I've had my an arm's length of excuses that have prevented me from taking just that next step. And I kind of look back and try to surmise, okay, what was it that caught my attention the most that you were offering? You know, was it the $1 14-day trial? And I can't say that was necessarily it. I think being persistent, as you were, I think pays off. I've been in advertising for 30 years, so that's always been the message, you know, be persistent, be consistent, and so forth.
Right.
So just like I say, some comments, observations, some of the things that you mentioned on your last couple of blog entries, and this really hit me between the eyes. Do you care enough about it enough to really devote yourself to it? And that was hard for me to kind of swallow because I had to ask myself that serious question. You know, am I going to take my the dream of mine and make it a reality, or am I just going to keep it on the shelf and, you know, look at it and toy with it for the rest of my life? So, you know, that was another one of those, I guess if you want to call it a seed that you planted. And I think prior to that, you also had another post. You become one of the messages that I got out of that. You become the average of the people you hang around.
Oh, right.
And that also struck me because I found myself, you know, when you're down, when you're depressed, when you're frustrated, it's very easy to gravitate towards those types of people. And you know, so I kind of looked again. You planted those seeds, and the awakening moment came when I decided to take that step, investigate the academy a little further, and saw the community that was going on here, and I said, you know what, dummy, take that next step. It's much better than living in the wishful thinking stage. So I don't know if I'm really giving you an answer. I don't.
Okay, that was, as you heard Dave there, and just interesting to hear, as I'm again wanting to focus on nuts and bolts of making a business happen, and he goes back to it's his personal journey and how much did he want it. Now, yesterday I did a blog on how a rant kind of on comfort, on getting rid of comfort to make room in your own life. And there was a comment by Aaron Harris, who's actually also a Free Agent Academy member. And he says, as an aspiring free agent, I could and should give up the comfort of my time off the clock from my current day job. Call it downtime, rest time, recharging time, whatever. I choose to relax and get rest after coming home rather than using that time to work on my aspiration for my own business and self-employment. The question that I think your post is really aiming at is, how bad do you want it? How far will you go for it? I'm not going to, I don't like just being a motivational speaker. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of motivational people. It's good stuff. I mean, my gosh, it's great. I love it. You got to be motivated. I do so many things to stay motivated and not let myself get down, because we're all prone to it. But I don't like just motivating. I heard a guy talk one time about motivating incompetence. It's still incompetent. Now it's just excited incompetence, and that's no good. And so we do want to equip, but there is so much to be said for that. And again, if you could only look forward, how many people would lose weight, obese people would lose weight if they could just spend a day feeling what it felt like, feeling the health and the vitality and the energy. How many people would do it? I mean, a dramatic amount more. Most of them just can't see that far ahead. Same thing. If you could only feel what it felt like to be working at what you love and owning it and working on your own agenda, I think it would drastically change your perspective and your starting point and desire to make it happen, so that's the encouragement for today. Whether you use us, whether you connect with a mentor or business person in your own area, whether you get a book on the subject, whatever, do something. Just take a step. If you'll just take a step, don't think about swallowing the whole thing. Just think, can I take one step this week, one step next week, and get a little bit closer? That's my hope for you.